deported to Iraq or Jordan because his claim was not credible. Dr. Alan Mendoza is the founder and executive director of the security think tank, the Henry Jackson Society. Thank you for coming on the programme, Alan. I wonder what you make of this series of either missed moments or difficulties in deporting this person.
Well, I mean, I think where you need to go to, Tom, is at the end point where the Home Office basically have dodged all questions on what happened during this whole 6-year period. It's notable that they've not attempted to justify at all any attempts to deport him. It seems, frankly, and I don't know whether it's correct or not, it seems, frankly, they just sort of ignore the fact that his appeal had been rejected and just let him roam around the country.
Yes, asked about this, a Home Office spokesman refused to comment on the judgment or answer questions on why al-Suleiman had not been deported. The new plan for immigration will require people to raise all protection-related issues up front to tackle the practice of making multiple and sequential claims and enable the removal of those with no right to be in our country more quickly. Is that going to work? Do you think that is going to end this, what we continue to see of people staying here or making multiple claims for asylum?
Well, whether it works or not, clearly there's a recognition that something has to be done about this, in the sense that we've had a case here where the most tragic consequences occurred because of this failure. So we can't continue to go on and pretend that here's a situation that we can allow to go on. If you're right to, you have a right to obviously claim asylum, you have a right to go through the process. But if your appeal, if it's rejected, your appeal is rejected, then I'm afraid you have to leave this country, and it's incumbent upon the authorities to work out a way, basically, to go. You failed. You've had legal recourse, and now it's time for you to leave. But that question is, how do you get hold of that person at that point, and how do you physically necessarily put them onto a plane or whatever else to do that?
And for a lot of people, where do you send them back to?
Well, that, of course, is a very interesting question. In his case, it's quite clear that he could have gone back to Iraq, given that was where, originally it was deemed he was from. So, or he could go back to Jordan. There were clearly ways he could go back. We know, of course, he went through the sham conversion, potentially, by the way, of course, in order to run a human rights defence. Exactly, make a new claim, a human rights defence. I'll be killed if I go back as an apostate. So he was clearly, he was aware that there were ways to try and game the system, if you like, but he couldn't have been aware of this on his own. He must have been getting advice from someone as well. I suspect there's a whole industry around this of people willing to help such people stay here at all costs.
Very good to speak to you. Thank you for your time this evening. Dr. Alan Mendoza, founder, executive director of the security think tank, the Henry Jackson Society. 20 to 12 is the time. Come back to your calls on the